Hey y'all! Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Julie and I primarily make content surrounding topics such as music, makeup, as well as mental health. Today's video is mental health related. I figured for Pride Month, and now that I'm out on my channel publicly as bisexual, we could do a little video in a format similar to the recent video I did on African Americans and treatment barriers as well as cultural competence. So this is in a similar realm for the topic because this is regarding treatment barriers that individuals that identify as LGBTQ plus face when seeking mental health care. So I did a little cute PowerPoint, got my rainbow theme going, and here we go. I'm just going to read from the PowerPoint and add any extra points I think of along the way. So we're discussing gender, sexuality, and mental health, as well as the unique treatment considerations for this population. Statistically speaking, 3.5% of the United States population identifies as LGBTQ+. This represents almost 4.5 million people, and 39% of these individuals have experienced a mental health condition within the past year, according to the time when this study took place. There are specific issues that the LGBTQ+ population faces. Research shows that these individuals tend to experience health disparities due to the stigma they face as well as discrimination, even in the healthcare field. Since these individuals experience such extensive discrimination, this obviously can negatively impact their health. LGBTQ+ individuals are at a higher risk when compared to the general population of developing psychiatric illnesses or mental health conditions, substance abuse conditions, as well as dying by suicide. The prevalence of the mental health struggles within this population are really important to consider as well. According to statistics, LGBTQ+ individuals are 3 times more likely to endure a mental health condition. Youth within this population specifically are 4 times more likely to die by suicide, struggle with suicidal ideation, as well as self-harm in comparison to their straight peers. Research shows that 38 to 65% of transgender individuals also struggle with suicidal ideation. 20 to 30% of this population struggle with substance abuse, as opposed to 9% in the general population. This population, that being LGBTQ+ individuals, are also 2.5 times more likely to struggle with depression and anxiety. A major treatment concern for LGBTQ+ individuals is that over half of respondents on a survey who identified as LGBTQ+ reported experiencing discrimination from medical providers in which they denied them care and even blamed their sexuality and gender identity as causation for their physical and mental health concerns. So they weren't taken seriously. And the major issue with this is that if these individuals do not have good experiences in physical or mental health care, they most likely are not going to seek treatment because they're not going to trust their providers and they're not going to want to face that discrimination, which they shouldn't have to, right? Now we're going to get into affirmative psychotherapy. Affirmative psychotherapy is considered to be an evidence-based therapeutic modality in which clinicians or therapists have the background knowledge and awareness in regard to the specific developmental as well as cultural considerations to think about when working with this population. Similarly to multicultural counseling or culturally competent practice, affirmative psychotherapy is considered to be culturally competent practice when working with a specific population. Clinicians who properly utilize this approach tend to see sexual orientation as a normal component in identity development. They also validate and comprehend that the discrimination this population faces directly causes mental health issues. They work toward acknowledging their own internal heterosexist biases, which if they identify as heterosexual may very well be the case and is important for them to consider when working with this population. They need to acknowledge their biases that may be present and address them, because otherwise this can negatively affect treatment for this population, whether that be damaging the therapeutic relationship or dampening the effect of treatment modalities that may have helped if the therapeutic relationship was more stable. One piece of affirmative psychotherapy that's important to mention is that clinicians need to celebrate the diversity present for this population, as well as gain a general understanding of the unique aspects of LGBTQ plus relationships. Continuing to discuss affirmative psychotherapy, therapists who utilize this approach also do so from an intersectional framework. And you may have heard the term intersectional feminism, right? Which means that we are feminists, we care about women's rights, but that includes all women, that includes trans women, that includes women who are people of color, and we look at how all of those aspects contribute to marginalization, oppression, and discrimination. So an intersectional framework, when utilized with affirmative psychotherapy, means that clinicians acknowledge that there are unique barriers and struggles in the lives of LGBTQ plus individuals who are also part of other marginalized groups, such as LGBTQ plus people of color. Clinicians are aware that mental health concerns will be prevalent for this population due to the intensive discrimination and oppression they face. Moving forward into the client-to-therapist relationship, according to research I found, the client-to-therapist relationship is one of the most crucial aspects of successful treatment outcomes for LGBTQ plus individuals. Therapists who exhibit any form of microaggressions toward clients will negatively impact this therapeutic relationship. Examples cited of microaggressions that are not acceptable include failing to use inclusive language, such as assuming the gender of said client or even the client's partners. Clinicians who exhibit microaggressions toward this population may also blame all of their clients' struggles on their personal gender identity or sexual orientation, and this is not acceptable either. They may even invalidate the impact of being discriminated against for one's sexual orientation, which is a heterosexist bias, right? Because if you're heterosexual, you haven't experienced that form of discrimination or oppression, so how would you know what it's like? And that's important to consider. It doesn't mean that if you're heterosexual, you can't work with LGBTQ plus populations, but you need to be culturally competent and affirmative in your practice. I found some relevant research to this topic as well. A research study by Kelley in 2015 noted that lesbian as well as gay clients who considered their clinician to be an affirmative mental health provider reported having a stronger, more beneficial therapeutic relationship with them. This study also indicated that these clients had the strongest relationship and best treatment outcomes when working with a lesbian or gay therapist. However, the major factor of a successful therapeutic relationship arguably appears to be clinicians who have the ability to be empathic and sensitive toward the needs of their clients, regardless of the clinician's personal sexual orientation. Owen et al. In 2011 found that culturally competent therapists in particular were viewed by clients as more reliable, and this often made clients feel safe opening up to them in treatment. This is the final slide of my little presentation here, and I felt it was important to mention that there are unique considerations when treating LGBTQ plus individuals who are minors, so LGBTQ plus youth. In counseling, there generally are considerations for confidentiality when working with minor patients. It's crucial that clinicians protect the personal gender identity and sexual orientation of their minor clients through remaining confidential, of course. Although confidentiality will have to be broken in instances where the youth is at risk of harming themselves or others, no medical records that can be accessed by caregivers should reveal the youth's gender identity or sexual orientation. Children in general also have unique developmental, neurological, and psychological processes that must be taken into account with treatment considerations. I also mention on the side here that LGBTQ plus youth are more likely to endure serious health concerns such as HIV and STIs or pregnancy, obesity, substance abuse, mood and anxiety disorders, eating disorders, body image issues, peer bullying, as well as family rejection. And I also want to add to that the previously mentioned suicidal ideation, higher risk of dying by suicide, as well as self-harm struggles. Therefore, I argue, and the research argues, and every clinician out there that is well-versed is going to argue, that it is crucial for therapists to receive outside trainings on how to treat this population, especially the unique considerations when working with youth. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel as well. This is a safe space for individuals of all varying identities, whether that is your ethnicity, your religion, your unique culture. If you are LGBTQ+, whatever it may be, you are welcome here. This is a safe space for you, and I am happy to have you. Please leave a comment down below letting me know if this information was helpful to you, or if you have anything to add. I would love to talk with you in the comments. My social medias will be plugged down here. My Instagram is Julie_counseling. My Twitter is JulieCounseling with no underscore. And my Facebook page will be linked down below as well. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, guys.